fight fans? It's Justin Prey MMA, and I'm back with another video. The topic of today's video is Ciryl Gane, the new interim UFC heavyweight champion of the world, and we're going to be talking about how good is he really, and is he a little bit overrated following his win over Derek Lewis to get himself the interim heavyweight belt, or is he possibly underrated, or does the hype exactly live up to the margin of a fighter that he is? Is the hype justified? We're going to be getting to all that and more. So before I get started, once again, if you could subscribe to the channel and like the video, that would help tremendously. Once again, before we get started, if you could hit the like button and if you could subscribe to the channel to support MMA content, I would greatly appreciate it. But let's get started. Getting started on Ciryl Gane, talking about his background. He has a background in glory kickboxing. He stands at 6 foot 4 inches tall, 245 to 250 lbs pounds. He stands and he has an orthodox stance, not a southpaw, not a switch. He's an orthodox fighter, which may surprise some of you guys. And he has a professional MMA record of 10 wins, 0 losses, 0 draws. He is the undefeated prospect, which is one of the reasons why he's so hot on the market right now. Some things about him and his fighting style: he has great timing, he has great distance control, and his kicks are lethal. Obviously, this comes from his background in kickboxing, and which makes it surprising is that he's just as tall as Israel Adesanya, he's just as tall as Francis, and he's just as tall as John Jones and Stipe. But we see how they all have such different fighting styles and how they all utilize their bodies for combat in different ways going on. You know what I'm saying? Like Izzy, even though Israel's a kickboxer, we see him more as like a snappy, sort of almost like a Muay Thai type of fighter, which is weird because, you know, he has a background in pure kickboxing. Same thing with John Jones. John Jones, heavy Muay Thai, heavy knees, heavy elbows. Francis Ngannou, boxing for the most part, takedown defense. Stipe, a little bit of everything. But then we have Ciryl Gane, who gives me, he seems like an ode to Wonderboy, ode to Conor McGregor in his fighting style and how he uses kicks to keep people at a distance, and then he'll snap back in with a 1-2, and then he'll close the distance with a grapple, get the underhooks in, and he'll go to work. But yeah, so he has great distance. He has amazing footwork. He has amazing takedown defense. I think he has 100% takedown defense, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think he's been taken down in the UFC. He has amazing distance control, and all this stuff, when you combine it together, it makes him a real standout at the heavyweight division. Now, someone could argue, is he really this good? Is he really this much of a standout prospect? Or is it only because there's such a lack of technical skills at the heavyweight division that forces him to stand out? And honestly, I think it's a little bit of both. I think heavyweights, for example, outside of Stipe, and John Jones hasn't competed, so he's not a legitimate heavyweight yet. But I think outside of Stipe, we don't see too many heavyweights with a lot of skill, to be honest. Even Daniel Cormier, to an example, he's an all-time great, but he was really a boxer and a wrestler. You know what I'm saying? Like, sure, he had like a little bit of some snappy calf kicks, but he didn't implement that too much. We didn't see any body kicks. We didn't see any spinning back kicks, any spinning elbows. We didn't really see any Muay Thai from DC. So yeah, outside of Stipe, we really don't see a lot of heavyweights utilize skill, utilize distance control. It's usually they'll back up and then come back in for another car collision. So I think that is true also. However, even when you look at him, the eye test tells you that he's legit. He's a real problem. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, just going off of all that, I think it's a little bit of both, and it's warranted. He's definitely that dude, in my opinion. What makes him also stand out too is that he's sparred Francis Ngannou, and if I'm not mistaken, he's actually has one of Francis's former trainers in his corner right now. I think that's one of the things that they're using for the marketing of the incoming fight between him and Francis, the beef between, you know, the trainers and him. I think Francis had actually fired one of his trainers after his loss to Stipe, and he went to Ciryl Gane, because, you know, I'm pretty sure they both used to train at the same gym before Francis moved and everything. So yeah, there's that beef too. Also, another thing that really got him high up on everybody right now is the fact that he outclassed Derek Lewis. Like, granted, Derek Lewis, Derek Lewis has a win over Francis Ngannou, even though it was arguably the most boring fight of all time. He has a win over Francis Ngannou, and Ciryl Gane outclassed him. He made him look like he didn't belong there in his hometown of Texas, when the UFC was basically giving the belt to Derek Lewis on a silver platter. Ciryl Gane came in and outclassed him. He put on a stunning performance. He showed that there were levels to it. Now, whether you could say it's a good day or it's a bad day for Lewis, the pressure got to him, it doesn't matter. All that matters is what we saw in the octagon. And in the octagon, in the cage, we saw that Derek Lewis did not belong in there with Ciryl Gane. There were levels to it, and Ciryl was way above it. So yeah, putting all that into the puzzle, putting all the pieces together. Is he overrated? Is he underrated? How good is he really? I think that the answer is it's justified. I think the hype is justified. Same thing. If you guys have seen my Francis video, I think it's the same thing. I think the hype is justified. Now, granted, the only thing I could say that's a slight against him is that maybe we don't have enough footage on him. We don't have enough tape on him to truly analyze him, as he's only 10-0, and I think he's like 4 or 5-0 in the UFC. But still, I wish there was a little bit more tape on him. Maybe either sparring footage, training footage, seeing how he moves, how he operates in the gym, what he focuses on in the gym. But yeah, the dude's legit. He's a problem. He's the real deal. He has my stamp of approval. The hype is justified. He is not overrated, and he is not underrated either. The hype is justified. This guy is a bad boy. He's a bad son of a gun. And yeah, these are my thoughts. These are my opinions. But let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments down below. And I'll catch you on the next one. And once again, subscribe if you have not already done so. And comment down below what you think of the UFC interim heavyweight champion of the world, Ciryl Gane. And do you think he'll beat Francis in his upcoming fight? Let me know all that and more down below. And I'll catch you on the flip side.